How can you become God's friend? Welcome. Have you ever longed for a special friendship, a deep connection with someone who always understands and supports you? The Bible reveals that this friendship is possible with the Creator himself, Jehovah God. But how does one become a friend of God? In this video, we explore the stories of men like Abraham, David, and Daniel who cultivated a close friendship with Jehovah. Follow along to the end as you will discover a surprising truth about how Satan tries to hinder this friendship and how you can prove your loyalty to God. Whom do you want as your friend? Someone whom you like, someone whom you get along with, and who gets along with you. Someone who has a kind personality and qualities you admire. Jehovah. God selects some humans to be his friends. For example, Abraham was one of Jehovah's friends. Isaiah 41:8, James 2:23. Jehovah also liked David. He said that David was a man agreeable to his heart, Acts 13:22. And the prophet Daniel was very precious to Jehovah, Daniel 9:23. How did Abraham, David, and Daniel become Jehovah's friends? Jehovah said to Abraham, "You have listened to my voice." Genesis 22:18. Jehovah becomes a friend of those who humbly obey him. Even a nation of people could become his friends. Jehovah explained to the nation of Israel, "Obey my voice, and I will become your God, and you will become my people." Jeremiah 70:23. So you too need to obey Jehovah if you really want to become his friend. The Bible says that Jehovah is looking for ways to show his strength in behalf of those whose heart is complete toward him. 2 Chronicles 16:9. At Psalm 32:8, Jehovah promises his friends, "I will give you insight and instruct you in the way you should go. I will give you advice with my eye upon you." A powerful enemy wants to stop us from being God's friends, but Jehovah wants to protect us. Read Psalm 55:22. As friends of Jehovah, we serve him with all our heart. We are loyal to him even under difficult circumstances, and we have the same confidence that the psalmist had. He wrote about Jehovah, "Because he is at my right hand, I will never be shaken." Psalm 16:8, 63:8. How does Satan try to stop us from being God's friends? Satan's accusation. In other video, we learned that Satan challenged Jehovah and accused him of being a liar and of being unfair by not allowing Adam and Eve to decide for themselves what was right and what was wrong. The Bible book of Job teaches us that Satan also accuses humans who want to be friends of God. Satan claims that they serve God because of what they can get from him, not because they love him. Satan even claims that he can turn anyone against God. Let's see what we can learn from Job and how Jehovah protected him. Satan claimed that Job served God for selfish reasons. Satan said to Jehovah, "Have you not put up a protective hedge or fence around him and his house and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his livestock has spread out in the land. But for a change, stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your very face." Job 1:10-11. Satan accused Job of serving Jehovah only for what he could get from him. Satan also claimed that he could get Job to stop serving Jehovah. Jehovah didn't agree with Satan, but he gave Satan permission to test whether Job was a friend of Jehovah because he loved him. First, Satan stole or destroyed all the animals belonging to Job. Then Satan killed most of Job's servants. Job lost everything. In a final attack, Satan killed Job's 10 children in a storm. But Job remained loyal to Jehovah. In all of this, Job did not sin or accuse God of doing anything wrong. Job 1:12-19-22. Satan did not give up. He challenged God by saying, "Strike his bone and flesh, and he will surely curse you to your very face." So Satan struck Job with a very painful disease. Job 2:5-7. Again, Job was loyal to Jehovah. He said, "Until I die, I will not renounce or give up my integrity." Job 27:5. Job didn't know anything about Satan's accusations or why he was suffering so much. He thought that Jehovah was the cause of his troubles. Job 6:4, 16:11-14. But even so, Job stayed loyal to Jehovah. Now there was no doubt Job was not selfish. He was God's friend because he loved him. Satan's accusations were all lies. Even though Job did not know what was happening in heaven, he was loyal to God and proved that Satan was evil. Jehovah rewarded Job for his loyal friendship. Job 42:12-17. You can learn important lessons from what happened to Job. Today, Satan accuses us of serving Jehovah for what we can get from him. At Job 2:4, Satan claimed, "A man will give everything that he has for his life." So Satan accuses all men and women of being selfish, not just Job. Hundreds of years after Job died, Satan was still insulting Jehovah and accusing his servants. For example, at Proverbs 27:11, we read, "Be wise, my son, and make my heart rejoice, so that I can make a reply to him who taunts or insults me." You can choose to obey Jehovah and be his loyal friend, proving that Satan is a liar. Even if you need to make big changes in your life to become God's friend, it is the best decision you could ever make. This decision is a serious matter. Satan claims that you will not be loyal to God when you have problems. He tries to trick us into being disloyal to God. How so? Satan uses many different methods to try to stop us from being God's friend. He attacks like a roaring lion, seeking to devour someone. 1 Peter 5:8. Do not be surprised when your friends, family members, or others try to stop you from studying the Bible and from doing what is right. You may feel as if you are being attacked. John 15:19-20. Satan also disguises himself as an angel of light, so he may try to trick us into disobeying Jehovah. 2 Corinthians 11:14. Another method Satan uses to try to stop us from serving Jehovah is to make us think that we are never good enough to serve God. Proverbs 24:10. Obey Jehovah's commandments. When we obey Jehovah, we prove that Satan is a liar. What will help us to be obedient? The Bible says, "You must love Jehovah your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength." Deuteronomy 6:5. We obey Jehovah because we love him. As our love for Jehovah grows, we will want to do everything he asks us to do. The Apostle John wrote, "This is what the love of God means, that we observe his commandments, and yet his commandments are not burdensome." 1 John 5:3. But what are the things that Jehovah tells us are wrong? Here are some examples of what we should hate, since Jehovah hates. At first you might think, that some of these things are not so bad. But when you read the Bible verses and think about them carefully, you will understand the wisdom of obeying Jehovah's laws. You will save yourself negative consequences. You may also feel that you need to make some changes in your life. Even though this may be difficult at times, if you make those changes, you will have the peace and happiness that come from being a loyal friend of God. Isaiah 48:17-18. How do we know that it is possible to make these changes? Jehovah never asks us to do anything that we cannot do. Deuteronomy 30:11-14. As a real friend, he knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows our strengths and our weaknesses. Psalm 103:14. The Apostle Paul encourages us, God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But along with the temptation, he will also make the way out so that you may be able to endure it. 1 Corinthians 10:13. We can be confident that Jehovah will always give us the strength to do what is right. He will give you the power beyond what is normal to help you to endure difficult situations. 2 Corinthians 4:7. After experiencing Jehovah's help during such times, Paul could say, "For all things I have the strength through the one who gives me power." Philippians 4:13. If we want to be Jehovah's friend, we must stop doing what Jehovah says is wrong. But we must also do more. Romans 12:9. God's friends love what he loves. They are described at Psalm 15:1-5. Read, Jehovah's friends imitate his qualities and show love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, self-control. Galatians 5:22-23. How can you learn to show those beautiful qualities? You need to learn what Jehovah loves by reading and studying the Bible regularly. Isaiah 30:20-21. As you do this, your love for Jehovah will grow, and as your love for him grows, you will want to obey him. The changes that you may need to make in your life can be compared to taking off old clothes and putting on new ones. The Bible says that you need to strip off the old personality and clothe yourself with the new personality. Colossians 3:9-10. Even though it may not be easy, when we make these changes and obey Jehovah, he promises to give us a large reward. Psalm 19:11. Yes, choose to obey Jehovah and prove that Satan is a liar. Serve Jehovah not because of any future reward, but because of unselfish love. Then you will become a real friend of God. We have seen how Satan accuses God's friends of being motivated by selfishness, but the stories of Job and others show us that loyalty based on love is possible. Your friendship with Jehovah is precious and can withstand any test. Now, we invite you to reflect. Are you ready to prove your loyalty to Jehovah and become his friend? In an upcoming video, we will examine the Bible's answer to one of humanity's most researched and most important questions. Why does God allow suffering? Subscribe to our channel to discover more biblical insights and strengthen your faith. Share this video with anyone who might benefit from it.